I supposed to do my intro, or are you doing your intro? Is this
This
going on your
is
channel?
this is going on my channel, but you're supposed to do your intro because I'm going to put a starter before it.
Hey, everybody, welcome to 40 Grit's Tabletop Adventures. I'm your host, 40 Grit, and we are currently on the wonderful world of Weaver. Or is it Weaver's Wonderful World?
It's Weaver's Wonderful World.
We are currently on Weaver's Wonderful World. We're going to take a character on a solo game through the cosmos.
It might not be solo for long, but it will still be solo for now.
Like, we might have some players drop in, we might have some people pick up NPC slots, we might do some weird stuff. But this is Nova Odyssey, Session 1, so let's get to the game.
Hoorah!
Go ahead and Ginsu, introduce your character.
My character's name is Amenel Drakona. Took that name from a different character for a LARP. But Amenel is the son of a miner from a planet called Outvis 4. Um, and he grew up with a few other people from the same mining colony on this planet. Eventually, as they grew up, they kind of ran the place and just did odd jobs here and there to try and save up to get a ship to, travel the cosmos and uh, do their own thing. As they grew up and got older, they would work at the local bar. They would do stuff for the mining company. They would do odd jobs here and there for the locals and in the capital. And then eventually they started picking up bounty hunting as soon as they were able to get their license when they were 18. Um,
Just to go ahead and put this out there, the names of your friends were Varric Ito, Aldwulf Buffon, and Gul Kelric.
Gold Cutter. So as we grew up, we started doing more and collecting and saving credits to get a ship. Eventually, we did have enough to buy a ship. We did buy the ship, but then we needed to, you know, supply the ship. So we went for one last big job that involved a
Always the one last big job.
yeah, that involved a raider who had kidnapped and killed a rather a predominant businessman's daughter from the capital. So we went out after the raider, got the raider.
And that gentleman's name was Zav Robic.
Um, yeah, so we got the raider. Actually, ended up killing him because it was a big firefight between him and a few of his other raider buddies. But got paid for what we needed to for the necessities, and then went back home to celebrate one last night of being on the planet with our families and uh, the mining colony. Turns out we never should have done that because then the raiders attacked that specific mining colony and killed all of my friends and at least a third of the mining colony. Um, my character survived, but just barely. He was actually shot in his shoulder, which caused him to pass out, and they thought he was dead, so they moved on. Um, Only to wake up to his mom screaming his name, trying to wake him up. And his mom and his dad luckily survived, but none of his friends did. He was the only one to make it out. And so, once his shoulder was healed, he went back to the ship, got on, took off, and he hopes he will never see that planet again.
Very nice. Mag, I went ahead and put the link for the Roll20 in the Nova Odyssey chat. So if you wanted to jump on to watch the maps or anything like that, you more than welcome to. And feel free to talk as well. You can be the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Especially since hopefully you'll be joining us when we start actually playing earlier. The only reason why we're playing so late right now is because of going to meet up with my friends.
Yeah,
date.
I'm
So,
not going to be able to stay on for much longer, but yeah, I'll definitely, hopefully, look
it probably
next
won't
time.
be. It probably won't be a late game tonight. It's just basically character introduction and a couple of role play scenes and things like that. We'll see where it goes.
Right.
But the camera pans into an empty, inky black void dotted with the white pepper lights of distant stars. Amenel, you find yourself sitting quietly, the sounds of the space engines humming around you. The feel of the ship, a place that was supposed to be full of joy and wonder and excitement, is now empty, quiet. You are now the official owner and captain of what is the name of your ship? What is on the docking papers that you filled out just 24 hours ago?
The Star Skipper.
The Star Skipper. It is a large craft, originally designed to hold several of you and your friends and future crewmates and an adventure amongst the stars, traveling to distant planets, possible adventure, excitement, bounty hunting, you name it. But now there's just ghosts everywhere. Across the room, you see Alduf in his large, bulky frame sitting there quietly munching on chips, waiting for the information network to finalize so he can access the galactic hub. Across the room, probably asleep in a hammock or a chair, you can imagine Ito. Varric, just quietly snoring, waiting for the next exciting moment to hit. You swear somewhere you can hear the sound of Gull's voice, just probably coming from the ionization shower chamber as he tries to sing a large, throaty opera. And those moments bring a smile to your face, but they're gone. It's just you. What do you
So
do?
I'm going to sit for a little bit, and I'm cleaning my heavy blaster pistol because it hadn't been cleaned since I was shot. Um, Once I get that cleaned, I will put it back together, reload it, holster it, and get up and head to the bridge.
Your footfalls echo as you make your way to the bridge. The automatic door registering the captain's band around your wrist. A very light, almost like rubber metallic band of flexible material that's so light that you wouldn't even notice you were wearing it most times, but responding to the sensors of the ship, giving you full access. Even if another crew member or passenger decided to try and lock you out, this band would override the system. The door immediately unlocks and swishes open, leading into the large, spacious bridge that was supposed to have four distinct positions, along with a captain's chair, future installed, but for now it just has two simple chairs. Over in the corner is your astromech, still in its charging, still in its original charging dock. Currently not even turned on, not processed. You didn't need it for taking off because the Otis's automatic systems were the ones that got you off planet.
Mm-hmm.
But in the view screen, you can see everything.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I will
It's
walk
a
over.
little weird playing a one-on-one it feels almost like a narrative story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more work on the GM, I've learned over time. But anytime you want to interrupt or change something, feel free.
Yeah, no worries. So I'll look out the window at the vast void. And I know navigation without an astromech or at least a good AI is rather hard. So I'll pat the back of the pilot's seat for a second before going over and activating the astromech.
Okay. Uh, we are using 5th edition. However, because there is a mixture of science and magic, do you want to make Arcana science, or do you want to keep it as intelligence, like a straight intelligence, or do you want to make a a dual proficiency? So, like, if you're good at Arcana, you're also good at tech.
Um, let's go ahead and make it just a straight intelligence right now. We can figure out the finer details later. Because either way, I'm not proficient with Arcana or Medicine. So, which medicine is more science based, anyways.
Being the more rugged, adventurous leader, a lot of those roles were filled by your previously deceased friends.
Mm-hmm.
But the droid is fairly simple, as there is a big red button on the box that says activate.
I'll press the button.
System discharges the droid. The box no longer functioning, shutting itself down. The droid starts to whirl to life. The chaotic beeps and whistles from its stereo system, obviously as it programs and calculates. A small little shelf pops open, and inside you see 6 earbuds.
Well, damn. I didn't know you came with these. I'll reach out and I'll take an earbud and I'll stick it in my ear.
You hear a slightly feminine voice. Calculating.
Oh,
Calculating.
that's gonna get hard to be. That's gonna be hard to get used to.
Calibration complete. Hello, Master, Owner. I am R7V5. Feel free to designate and identify any type of orders, statuses, or identifiers that you wish.
Let's just start with navigation. Where
Calibrating.
where is the
Calibrating.
closest jump from here?
Jump identified. 2 parsecs.
How big is a parsec?
Consider a parsec a day's travel.
Like through hyperspace?
No, just general engine drive.
Oh, no. The nearest system to jump to is what I meant.
Got it. Um, that would be the Vakarf system.
Okay. Do uh I want to pull up information about the Vicar system and see what's there.
Are you doing this on the droid or
Yes,
on
I'm
the hub?
asking. I'm gonna do this on the hub. I'm gonna sit down on the pilot's chair and I'm gonna bring up information for it.
The Vakarf system is a outer rim system. It has a lot of different outposts, mining facilities, very similar to Otis 4. There is some trade hubs. There are a little bit more galactic-y, sort of like major planet cities and things like that. But it seems fairly reasonable place to get a start going.
Okay. Um. So let's calculate a jump for the Vicar system, R7.
Roger. Identifying self as R7. Calibrating. As it begins the processing system, uh, you have the option as you look through some of the presets on the system to silence certain features or to actually run the droid system through the ship itself.
We'll
But
probably.
it wields it. Good.
I was gonna say I'll probably have the droid run its system through the ship while it's on board.
All right.
Uh, since it's gonna be basically working as a navigation boost.
You have currently a full fuel tank.
Mm-hmm.
1 second. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so you have the option of 6 planets to choose from. Varying size, dimensions, topography. What are you looking for? Are you looking for something more good?
I'm definitely looking for a trade hub because as this is a cargo hauler, the plan for the group was to still continue to do odd jobs here and there, just travel the galaxy while we were doing them. Because we are very good at being jacks of all trade, and that includes hauling cargo or bounty hunting or being used as a transport, and just basically everything in between. So I will find a trade hub, uh, and look for jobs on the net when we get into the solar system. So I'm not looking for any specific place. I'm just looking for what jobs will take me where.
Okay. Um, so you probably want to go to Varkarth Prime then.
If that's where the jobs are.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for more of a central trade hub, if you're looking for like actual societies and functional
Oh yeah, I'll be looking
something
for
other than.
I'll be looking for a trade hub, but I'll be looking for the one that has accessible jobs.
So you're looking more for Coruscant or like
Oh
what?
my god.
Well, I'm trying to figure out like what level of society you want to get to.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. I'm going where the jobs are. I'm not looking for anything specific.
Okay, got it. Okay. Then go ahead and roll a d20.
Okay. No modifiers.
No modifiers.
7.
7. Okay. As you're kind of scanning, looking through the information of our CARF system, trying to get a feel for understanding like the different political aspects and different types of empires and things like that that are running throughout the system, you do see a notice for request of freight control and cargo on Pro Aleco. It is the 4th planet in the Varkov system.
Okay, what does the pay look like?
Hey. It roughly, let's see, we are converting gold down to silver, so that would be
I thought we were converting it down to copper
2 copper.
as
Yeah, sorry, I was
yeah.
trying to do math in my head and I got the wrong word. Uh,
So 1 copper is 1 credit, and I have
yeah,
12,000 copper right now, so 12,000 credit.
I would say 50,000 credits.
Okay, that'll get me more than enough of what I need. Is it for a ship of my size?
It is simply it doesn't necessarily say a size for the ship.
Okay. All right, then
It just says large cargo and request transfer with security.
with security. I don't have any security on board the ship. I might have to hire.
And you technically count as security.
Yeah, but I can probably hire a few more security guard type people for the cargo as well if I need to. With 50,000 credits, that shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, let's make a course for there.
You
And
already forgot the name, didn't you?
yes, I did.
Pro Aleco.
Pro Aleco.
Yep. R7 calculates the course, and you can feel, you hear her voice in your ear telling you to prepare for jump.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm gonna strap into the pilot seat, and I'm going to uh, prepare the ship for jump.
All right, a few moments pass, you activate the coordinates, and you feel the ship lurch. Now, on a lot of like larger vessels, jumping is a lot smoother process, but being a freighter, your entry and exits are a little rough. There are ways to upgrade later if you have the money, um, but you're not a pleasure craft.
Yeah.
But you are now in hyperspace, and you will be there for 3 hours.
Oh, fun. Once we're in hyperspace, I'm guessing everything kind of stabilizes.
You are free to move around, and you don't necessarily have to strap yourself in for a
Mhm.
jump. It's just basically the effect of like stopping and going.
Yeah. Okay, so while we are in this in hyperspace heading there, I'm going to um get more information about the person who is offering the 50K job, and see if they have a cargo manifest and uh, what type of security they're looking for.
Okay, so are you running a scan on them, or are you doing a background check, or
I'm basically doing a
like?
background check.
All right, go ahead and roll history.
Roll history. Probably 6.
6. You really miss your friend.
Oh, damn it.
Aldworth would have compiled all this information and handed it to you in easy bite-sized function, and you look at all these different search parameters and all these different resource groups, and you're just kind of lost. What you basically find out is that you are basically being hired by a shipping magnate known as the Jareth Shipping Company. They are a sort of insectoid-like creatures. They all kind of consider themselves to be identical, and it's not necessarily a hive. It's more of like they prefer to keep themselves secret.
Mm-hmm.
So they just identify as part of the company, part of the entities that what they create.
So they're like a collective.
Kind of. It's more of like a natural camouflage.
Okay.
They are individuals, but they don't tell people they're individuals.
Yeah, they like to make people think they're like a hive mind.
Right. As for the cargo, it is not identified, but it is considered delicate. It requires security because it is a highly sought after substance according to the manifest. Because it doesn't identify what it is, because then everybody would know it's being moved. But you get the feeling like if you knew more about the Jareth organization, the society itself, you might get more of an understanding of what this cargo is.
Okay.
But it will definitely fit in your cargo bay. It looks to be about 1,000 units of something that would require hydration and cooling systems.
Hopefully that will be provided.
It's part of your cargo system.
Oh, okay. So I already have it for mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your cargo bay is an environmentally protected system. That way you can transport things of different nature, substance. There are water systems. There are different types of hold locks and things like that. So it's basically, I mean, this ship's pretty much outfitted for business.
Yeah. So this is like how my group was, and it's a jack of all trades ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right.
And where Aldwolf would have been able to give you a detailed breakdown, you know that Varric would have been no, sorry, Gull. Gull would have been the one who basically told you all about the Jareth creatures.
Yeah, he was basically supposed to be like the engineer and information broker type, because he was always
He
good at collecting information.
he was the researcher.
Yeah,
He loved learning and dissecting. He was more of a scientist.
which is also why he was going to take on engineering.
Yeah.
Life is going to be hard without friends.
Yeah. Well, Varric was more like you. He was a combative character.
Yeah.
You and him could clear out a bar full of attackers fairly easily. And when you two fought, it was almost like knowing the other person's moves before they did it.
Mm-hmm. Considering we had been fighting each other since childhood. All right, so I'm just gonna try and see what else I can find. I'm probably not gonna be able to find more information, but I'm gonna get
Well,
like.
the more you try to zero in on a subject matter, the lower the DC is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, unless it's confidential or security sensitive.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep researching to see what else I can find out.
For
And
what?
I'm gonna, huh?
For what?
On the race itself, the race of insectoids.
Okay. Uh,
Alright.
are you gonna go with scientific or uh, anthropology?
Would anthropology be medicine?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with anthropology then, so that I can use that medicine check, because it is a little bit higher
All
than.
right. Go ahead.
All right, so 20, dirty 20.
Nice. As you go to search more about the Jareth creatures, the first thing you realize is that the save systems on the computers were already being set up um, by Gull.
Mm-hmm.
So as you open it up to try and narrow it down, figure out which engines to use, they're already preset. So you type in the information, and it immediately comes back. You have the hive creatures. They are insectoids with 8 limbs. They are bipedal. They do walk around. They seem like a mixture of praying mantis and fly from the perspective of what you're looking at. They average in 6 to 8 feet tall,
Okay.
and they eat pretty much anything. They're not necessarily cannibalistic, but they have been known to consume their own. They have a mixture of technological advancements that allow them to communicate outside of their natural language, but there's also a bit of a telepathic bond that they can create with other creatures to share information more easily.
Okay. Interesting. So they're a really tight knit group, I'm guessing, since they all consider themselves a part of the Jareth company.
You can go ahead and roll again if you want to, from an Arcana perspective, if you want to know more about their society.
Okay. I'll go ahead and try that.
And if you don't have Arcana, it's just straight intelligence.
18.
18. Ironically, even though they identify themselves as being a cluster, a collective, there are a lot of different houses. There are a lot of different forces at play in their society. There is no overarching monarch. It tends to be a function of just who is the strongest at any current point. It's almost like a very Klingon-esque society where the house is a representation of a group and houses vie for power all the time, but no one ever actually identifies a leader.
Okay, so while they do have a base central government, it's not a monarchy or a patriarchy.
They don't. They have no government.
Well, technically, the houses would be considered the government.
Only in the sense of like states.
Yeah.
But like if you don't identify as part of a house, you have no rights under that house.
Makes sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of infighting, a lot of social sabotage and things like that, which is why they actually utilize third-party merchants and other things like that when dealing with systems of sensitive nature because they can't trust their own species.
Makes sense.
You start getting the feeling that the reason why they go with the concept of a collective is more in the sense of their own secrecy.
Yeah, they don't want outside people poking their noses where they don't belong.
With an 18, you also discover that their house sigils are secret unto themselves, normally camouflaged, hidden inside other images that only they themselves recognize.
So
Think of like Thieves' Cant.
yeah, so even if I did look at a sigil, I still wouldn't know what it was.
Most people identify the sigils as white noise.
Yeah.
Like they look at it and it looks like a still frame of just static.
Yeah. Okay.
There might be, at that point, go ahead and make me a perception check, please.
Okay. Perception, which is one of my higher ones. 15.
You hear a voice. It's not R7, it's not your own. It's not like you spoke out loud, but you swear you heard a voice just over your right shoulder as if someone was leaning close to your head. And the voice is so familiar. It's this rough, deep bass, and it just comes out simply as, I think the sigils are telepathic in nature.
I'm going to turn around.
No one's there.
What the fuck was that?
R7 is just sitting in its docking bay, just calibrating and working on gathering information on the Vakarth system, which is what you requested to do previously. And what that will do, that will lower the DC when dealing with that information.
Okay. So I'm gonna pinch the bridge
You have
of my
time.
nose.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pinch the bridge of my nose and just groan. Come on, Drakona, get your shit together. This is not the time to fall apart. And I'm gonna take a seat and I'm gonna continue what I was doing.
Uh, you get to the point where you are about to leave hyperspace. You're within telecommunications range of Proleco.
Okay. I'm going to reach out to the uh, Jathar, Jareth, about the job that they are hiring for transport.
Contact.
Yeah.
You plug in the information and your telecoms unit comes to life. There is a brief moment where it's waiting for connection. And as it comes through as text only.
Okay. What does it say?
Hello.
I will respond back. My name is Amenel Drakona. I am contacting you about the cargo job, transport job, and I'll give them details on my ship.
Yeah, they ask for your shipper code. Um, they ask how many is on your ship.
I respond currently just myself and my astromech.
You receive a moment passes and another message comes through. Splendid. We will send landing instructions.
I'll just send a quick response back and wait for that information to come through.
It does. It comes through as a data packet that displays landing coordinates, uh, giving you access to their. It's not necessarily a city. It's more of a industrial compound. As you take a look at the planet information, outside of the Novus region of Proaleco's main atmosphere is a sorry, Proaleco is a planet,
Mm-hmm.
and the Novus region is a quadrant on the planet, and the Jareth compound is inside the Novus region.
Okay.
I got a little tongue tied there, and it all came out backwards. But you leave hyperspace and you are brought into the view screen of Proleco. It is a dark blue ball of light.
Mm-hmm.
It has these brown, almost like molted land masses that seem to be covered in some type of grayish green plant life that just kind of almost looks like it's liquid in nature as it just kind of moves even from the view of space.
Okay.
There is a sickly green water source on the planet.
I wonder to myself if that's kind of like if they drink that or if it's used for something. But
I mean, you know Gull would be loving every moment of this. He was
yeah.
fascinated by different atmospheres and functions and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't take long for your computer system to lock onto the landing coordinates and start taking you in.
All right.
You were going to say something?
No, that's fine.
Okay. As your ship gets closer, you find yourself under intense scans
Mm-hmm.
from the compound. It reads your access codes, and you watch as a lot of high-speed turrets deactivate as you get closer,
Yeah, I'm not.
bringing in and land. Go ahead.
I'm not going to do anything against that. Um, them scanning the ship is part of the procedure, so I'm not really gonna make any attempt to stop them.
You have a request for them to take control.
Um, yeah, I'll allow them to do it since I'm gonna be doing this job for them.
You switch over and you allow them to take control, and your ship glides down into a designated area. The first thing you notice is that even these creatures, tall insectoids, are flying about and moving. They stay clear of your ship.
Mm-hmm.
The speed that they're moving at is kind of impressive. Like you would expect as you're watching this to play out as your ship's landing, you'd expect them to hit each other. You'd expect them to run into each other at the speed they're flying around and moving, but it seems almost like they're impossible to hit each other. They slide around each other, they dance in the air, and it's almost like watching dancers.
Yeah, I'm leaning over my control panel, just in awe, watching these creatures fly around.
Your ship comes to a docking position, and you hear R7's voice. Docking complete. Rear hatch access granted.
All right.
Shall we go, Master?
I think it would be the front hatch, wouldn't it?
We never actually identified. I saw it as a rear load system, wouldn't it be? Or do you want like stairs coming down section 3 down into the cargo bay,
No, no,
and
no.
then have
Hold
a
on,
front open access?
hold on. So if you look at the map, the back portion where the living quarters are, that's the back
Yes.
part of the ship. So you wouldn't be able to have a rear hatch there. Which means the loading ramp would be at the top area. Uh, so that entire front portion, that entire top, that wall would be the loading ramp.
Okay, you're talking about the sub-level, the cargo bay.
Yes.
Okay. Section 1 is still the front of the ship, though, correct?
Yeah, but it's also the upper part of the ship, so there's not going to be really any access to that part of the ship from the ground.
Okay, so this section where I'm putting the circle,
Yes,
that's the entrance.
Yes, this is the entrance.
Okay, cool. We're on the same page then.
Yes. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll get up from the seat and I'll tell R7 to come on and follow me, and we will head out to the cargo ramp. There is a single door on the ramp that I can use to access to get on and off the ship, but when the cargo door is down, it's not inaccessible because it won't
I
be
mean,
there.
a lot of that information is regardless because we're not actually dealing with a door opening and closing on the map, so.
Yeah, I know it's just pertinent information. I think you should have as the GM.
Understood. You exit and you find yourself greeted by several of these Jareth creatures. Even though you watch as the workers around you are completely without clothing,
Mm-hmm.
the ones in front of you are wearing ceremonial robes of dark
Interesting.
blues and reds and yellows crisscrossed around each other.
Oh, that's very
The
interesting.
One of them steps forward, identifying itself as an individual, and walks towards you. The others follow behind.
As he
It reaches you.
approaches, I'll slowly raise my hand up to my chest and I'll give him a light bow. I'm not exactly sure what their customs are, but as humans, that is a sign of respect. So
Go
hopefully
and make
they
a
would be
performance check.
hopefully they would be aware of that. Let's see.
Go ahead and make a performance check.
Yep. EM performance. 11.
11. Um, you make your bow. As you come forward, the insectoid creature is about 6 feet from you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's trying to imitate the same bow.
Okay.
But its body doesn't bend the way yours does, so it's almost like as it bends down, its upper half of its body stays perfectly erect,
Mm-hmm.
and instead it ends up folding itself down.
Okay. I'm guessing
As it
because
comes,
they are an insectoid type race that they have an exoskeleton, so it would make it hard to bend like a human.
that is true. The lead one looks at you and cocks its head and begins to communicate through these buzz and click sounds. You can feel there's something almost hypnotic about it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel something reaching into your mind, requesting access.
Oh, so they are telepathic. So just like the voice that I heard said. Um, I'll give it temporary access to be able to speak to me.
The voice comes through. Hello, I am Kalen. It is a pleasure to meet you, Amenel.
It is a pleasure to meet you as well.
We request the access to tour your cargo area and to take a look at your security systems to see if you would be a viable carrier of the cargo.
Yes, you are more than welcome to inspect my ship. I can give you a small tour. As you can see, it's not that big of a ship. The cargo area is the largest portion of it. So
It
I'll
stares at you.
so I'll turn around and I'll head back into the ship. And as I'm inside the ship, I will wave them to come on board.
They follow.
And as I go through, since I should have some aspect of the systems, I'll let them know that the cargo bay is environmentally controlled. It has a water system to be able to keep uh, moisture to, say, like plant life or to vegetation, to keep it fresh and to keep it clean, and it can be uh, warmed for live animals or kept cool for cooler stock. Um, and then I'll take them up into the main portion of the ship, and I'll show them what security
You
systems I
start.
do have.
Okay. They watch. They don't ask questions, but they all four of them watch you very closely. Watch how everything's moving around. Um, as you finish the explanation of security systems, the cannons, uh, the I'm going to say that there is a way to basically place shields independently in certain sections of the ships, kind of like choke points,
Mm-hmm.
and close offs for like if there was like contamination, gas, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be able to seal and protect certain areas.
Yeah.
Uh, the one that identifies itself as Cullen looks at you, goes, "There are several rooms here, and yet you are alone. I
Um.
sense sadness,
Uh.
remorse."
I was not supposed to be by myself. I was supposed to be with a crew of three other people that were supposed to be coming along with myself, but they sadly did not make it off world with me.
I sense your sincerity. I think we shall offer more for you.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by more, but if you're talking about payment, the 50,000 is more than enough.
There's a sense of clicking that you perceive as laughter, but there's no telepathic connection to it.
Yeah.
Um, shall we investigate the cargo?
If you would like to show me what I will be carrying, yes, that would be wonderful.
They lead you back into the compound, and in their own uh, what's I'm looking for? Hangars. Their own large hangars. You can see they have several fighter ships, and they don't really carry any cargo vessels, which you find odd.
Yeah,
Uh,
as we pass the fighters, one thing that I have always liked was fighter what were fighter craft. So I'll kind of give a light whistle in impressive form at what they look like.
as you pass one of them looking inside the cockpit, you see that the controls are just as alien as they are. There are
Mm-hmm.
six different control throttles, and the cockpit lays down vertically.
Okay, interesting. I'll look at Colin, who's supposed to be the leader, and I'll ask if a human has ever been able to actually pilot one of their fighters, just as
It
out of
looks
curiosity.
it looks at you and cocks its head, and you hear the voice in your head, and it goes, "Unfortunately, no. they would need to be modified for the different control control sticks are a balance of different positions of the way the wings interact. However, one of our own pilots can fly at any function of three-dimensional space.
Interesting. That's definitely something that I would like to see from the inside. I know it'll probably be impossible to get another person in there with the pilot, but that is definitely very interesting.
Do you wish to enter the ship, or
Uh,
you wish to see something enter the ship?
no, it's all right. I'm just letting my curiosity get the better of me. We should probably it'd probably be best to inspect the cargo.
If you like, I would be willing to take you for a ride.
Maybe after we make the deal for the cargo and then go from there. But I would definitely like to see that.
Very well. They turn and they lead you deeper into the structure, and you find yourself standing in front of large gray cases, 20 feet tall, 30 feet wide. There are 100 of them. It is a large order for your cargo bay,
Mm-hmm.
but it is doable. Some of them would have to be stacked together, but they all seem to be sealed with security systems, locking mechanisms, and scan systems show only that it is a highly unstable substance.
So it's gonna be it has to be a very smooth ride then. And where will I be transporting these to?
To one of our home worlds.
What's the name of the home world?
Runo. We will obviously supply you with coordinates.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that you cannot travel in hyperspace.
And
Hence the 50,000 credits.
yeah, how far away is Runo exactly?
They try to calculate space, and you see that there's a bit of a misconception in their mind because whenever they travel in space, they put themselves into like a hyper state,
Mm-hmm.
a sleep-like state, and R7 comes back with 10 parsecs.
10 parsecs, so that's a 10-day trip. 10-day trip. That makes sense for the 50K then. Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. We can make that happen.
Galen gets very serious as it leans in over you and goes, "This is very precious cargo.
I
There will
understand
be
that.
people after it."
Um, as for security, myself being the only person at the moment, anything outside of the ship we can manage, or I can manage by myself. But if we have people after the ship, would you want to send some of your people along for internal security just in case we happen to be breached?
Unfortunately, we would be of no help. The cold of space is harsh to our forms. The only way we've been able to keep ourselves safe with travel is by placing ourselves in a hypersleep.
Okay, I think I understand.
If
Oh,
it helps to understand more, you watch as the creature puts a large claw on the side of the box. You notice a small green scan happening, and you watch as the words scroll biometric scan complete across the screen. There is an unlocking and a almost like a file cabinet size drawer slides out. Inside, you can see thousands of eggs.
Oh, that makes that more understandable as to why this is so precious. Okay. So,
This is our future of our house.
okay. Well, that makes the stakes a little bit higher, but I also understand why it's so much. Okay. Um, are there other planets in this is the me as the player asking. Are there other planets in the system that have um like other galactic races on them, like humans or elves or dwarves or gnomes or whatever?
Pretty much. There are going to be a lot of like classical fantasy races, but there will also be hybrid alien races, things like that. But a lot of the alien races will be designed very similar to just modified like Goliath. These are Thri-kreen, things like that. So
Yeah. Okay. Since this is such sensitive cargo, I do want to have a few more people for security, and I'll pay them out of the 50K. But would you allow me to stop at a galactic hub to pick up a few people for more internal security to make sure that your eggs are well taken care of?
I would recommend you do this before taking the cargo.
All right, I can do that.
For once you leave, we would rather a direct trip back to Bruno.
Understood. Then I shall go take care of that now, and I will be back once I procure some more crew.
There is no rush, as this is a sensitive matter,
It
and
is.
if we feel you are acceptable because we have seen inside, we know you are trustworthy.
I'll give them a light bow and I go, and I appreciate that very much. Um, and from there,
They escort you, as you guys are going back out to your ship. Kalen goes, would you care for that ride? Or later?
uh, yeah, let's actually do that right now. If this isn't a time sensitive thing, I'm kind of curious as to how it works.
There is a spot that they basically unfold like a jumpsuit seat for you to climb into.
Mm-hmm.
As you climb into it, strap yourself in. Kaylin then crawls into the ship face first down into the cockpit. You watch as its limbs slip into the holes, allowing for access to different yokes and sticks of control. As they do this, there's almost like a sense of immersion around the metal, where they almost become part of the machine. The cockpit seals, and unlike a normal ship, which are used to, which is like a gentle upward motion away from the ground or even a forward roll, this is just a pure upward vertical lift
Ooh.
up into the sky. And as it does that, it also spins counterclockwise rotation around, almost a 360-degree turn. And you instantly feel yourself basically watching the land and sky flip around and backwards. Go ahead and make a Constitution save.
All right then. 13.
Just as fast as the first maneuver, Kalen breaks away into a forward, almost like a sliding maneuver as the craft banks around and then sharply turns up, but then stops midway up the arc and then drops straight down. And you realize, as you're feeling the G-forces and the rolls and everything, you're able to keep whatever you consumed earlier in the day down, but you start getting a feel for understanding that there are multiple propulsion systems laced throughout the outer edge of this craft that are pushing and pulling all at the same time, allowing for almost a complete control of the vehicle.
Wow.
A few more minutes pass and you are back on the ground. And most of the ride is just lost in movement and shapes and colors. And you kind of understand a little bit more about the level of technology and basically aggressiveness of what it would be like to face one of these crafts in a dogfight.
Yeah, that would be intense.
If these creatures weren't weakened by space, they could possibly rule the galaxy.
Yeah, almost like the Rakata from Star Wars. Um, I'll thank Cullen for the ride, and then I'll say my
You,
farewells and head back to the ship to go to the nearest hub to try and find a couple of crew members for security.
right, as you and R7 enter the ship, your legs still feel like jelly.
Uh-huh.
As you, I'm gonna go ahead and say that there would be some type of lift or immediate access from the entrance up to the cockpit,
Yeah,
so you wouldn't have to go all the way through.
yeah, if you look where I'm standing at right now, um,
Yep.
over here would be like a lift that would take me to here.
Okay. Is this a captain's lift? Like, would other people have access to it, or is it just
Other
something that responds to your bracelet?
other crew members would have access to it to be able to get from the cargo bay up to the bridge. But
Okay.
it only descends from the bridge, so you have to have the access codes to be able to get to it. Because
If I remember
basically,
correctly, the cargo bay is 30 feet tall, correct?
yes,
Okay. I would say just in case we're ever in a situation we need to have this identified, I would say it would take an action to utilize the lift.
yeah. Um, Actually, let's put it in the middle here, and here is where it would come down at. That way, it's directly in front of the cargo bay doors.
Okay. The difference of the 10 feet past the cargo bay, is that on purpose?
What do you mean?
So like, you notice how the cargo bay stops here versus the front of the ship stopping over here. So
Yeah, it's supposed
would
to.
that section overhang?
Yes, this section does
Okay.
overhang from the front of the cargo bay. Cause what?
Okay. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, cause what the cargo bay door looks like is this is where the hinge is, but it stops here, like right underneath the this area.
Okay.
So it's kind of
Um.
it's kind of slanted.
Alrighty. So as you leave, you are given access back to your ship once you are past the boundary of the Jareth compound.
Okay. So I'll take so the nearest galactic hub for this solar system, is it going to be like on a planet or is it going to be a space station?
It depends. There are multiple. The question is, are you going to leave the planet, or do you want to go to a local hub,
I want to
or do
go
you want to go to a station? Because there is a city on the planet, according to your dossier, that would suffice as well. It depends on if you want to travel or not.
Okay, no, I'll stay on the planet and I'll go to that city that has the local galactic populace, I guess is what you would call it.
So you are going to head to Vota. Vota is a mildly sized metropolis. Um, it has a large trading district, a bounty hunters guild. There is different types of religions and associations and things like that in the Galactic Empire. But the overall use of the Federation is recognized but not super enforced.
Yeah.
But there is an outpost and even a military presence if need be. But this isn't like the Galactic Empire. This is more like just a general United Nations sort of like outreach. So like if all the planets started getting up to no good, they couldn't just quell them. But if one planet got up to no good, all the planets would join together to put them down.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it doesn't take you long, and basically leaving atmosphere, rotating around 30 degrees around the planet, and then coming back down takes roughly about an hour.
Okay. So while I'm doing that, during that hour, I'll actually reach out to the Bounty Hunters Guild, and I will let them know that I'm looking for about 3 people to run a 10-day job, and I'll offer 50K or 5K each.
Okay. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. Persuasion is 421. Or no, 19, sorry.
Okay. As you get closer to Voda, you receive a hail communication from the guild itself.
All right, I'll bring them up.
Mo, hey, hey there. Drakona, is it?
Yes, sir.
My name is Garia. Nice to basically make your acquaintance. Welcome to Voda here on Proleco. I've only been here for a few months myself. You say you're looking for a job. Do you want to be a bit more specific? Like, you're looking like we don't normally just like rent people out or anything like that. You're looking to hire people. Like, you don't have a team.
No, unfortunately, I do not have a team at this time.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for membership, we have a great mixer coming a few weeks from now. We're going to have some food, some dancing, some music, all that fun stuff. You might be able to find some people, get yourself set up with something.
I'm just looking for basic security, because the cargo that I'm going to be holding, it looks like some people might be after. So just security on board the ship to help with defense.
Well, I mean, I can put you in touch with a captain of a team. If you want to trust someone that nature, there's always a risk with that because you never know what they're going to do. I mean, kind of like the rules of the guild, kind of like, yeah, if you get away with it, you get away with it kind of thing. You know, we don't really like make people follow the rules, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something quick, I mean, have you thought about a combat droid?
I mean, how much are combat well, I wouldn't want to keep it. It would just be for like a one-time thing.
I don't know if you'd be able to rent a combat droid. That'd be kind of like, I mean, be like kind of like renting a starship. It wouldn't make much sense.
Well, I know places that rent starships. Kind of like a
Actually,
trial by fire type thing.
it would actually be very rare. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Like
Oh.
the amount of currency and the effect that goes into a starship. There might be a situation where somebody would like loan out a ship temporarily with in regards to like a debt or something of that nature.
No.
But like normally like if it's going to fly, it's going to have a captain and a crew.
Okay. How much would combat droids generally be, or do you know anybody that would be trustworthy for a job like this?
Well, I mean, there's always a risk. Like I said, we don't necessarily enforce things like that. Um, I could get you in contact with the gentleman. He's got a group. They seem pretty good. They haven't had any like people die mysteriously around them. I mean, we have a couple like that. I wouldn't put you, uh, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, a droid. It depends on what you're looking for. Like, if you want something like personal security, maybe a couple thousand credits. You want something a little bit more hard tech, like you're going into war. It'd be a couple tens of thousands of credits.
Well, I'm definitely not looking for anything to
But
go into war with.
it would definitely be a lot easier to rent or like I don't know, like maybe make a half down payment on a droid. But I mean, that just depends on how like well, basically how much your charisma works. I mean, like how much of a persuasive son of a bitch you may be. But like I said, we do have a mixer coming up in a couple of weeks that if you're looking for new membership and trying to get people that have lost team members and things like that, and I mean, you're running a solo crew. Is that what's going on?
Right now
Because I see right
yes.
now you're as you approaching Voda, I see your life scans are coming through as one
Yeah, it's just myself and my astromech right now.
on a ship that big. Well, look at that. That's a story right there. I mean, when you got time, feel free to come by the guild and we can basically have a talk.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you more in person about trying to find either a good combat droid or a few trustworthy people that you would consider wouldn't you know, betray me for any reason.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a droid, I'd have you go talk to Doctor Jin.
Doctor, what now?
Jin, Jyn. Like
Doctor
she's one of
Jin.
those like yeah, she's one of those dark skinned space elves. Like one of those hoity-toity sort of like
A drow?
like. Well, I mean, some people call them that. Some people call them space elves. Some people call them pointy ears. Some people call them pains in my ass. Um, but yeah, she's a good woman. She has some good products.
Okay. Um, so I'll jot down that name real fast and look up what she.
You receive an info packet with her contact information.
Okay. And if I don't find what I'm looking for, I'll drop by the guild and you and I can have a conversation.
Not a problem. My name's Gara. That's Geria. Pretty much, I just run the communications hub and make sure any type of research, information, anything like that. We'll just try to make sure that people have what they need going into things.
All right. Thank you very much.
But the refresher mixer's in a couple of weeks, so feel free to come on back to Poleco if you still looking for a crew.
We shall see. But I do thank you for that
Oh,
information.
did you need that information on that team captain?
Yes, please. If I could get that information, that would be great.
Let me take a look here, my Rolodex, see who's taking jobs right now.
Rolodex.
That'd be Roama.
Rama?
Roama.
Ro. So R O A M A.
Roama, yeah. By the way, whenever I spell things, think of it kind of like coming through as like a data packet and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, just a warning, she's a troll. But like I said, like no one's died mysteriously around her. She seems to have a good reputation. Her and her little goblin brothers, they like things. They get things done. They're a little wild, a little crazy sometimes, but
Oh,
they
I've
seem
dealt
to
with
be
wild and
effective.
crazy before.
Oh, I have a feeling we're gonna get along just fine. You're gonna be in the Veracrypt system very long?
I am not sure how long I'm going to be here, but I will definitely stop back by once I'm done with this job.
Well, I'm born and raised, so if you need any help with anything, you got my information. You can consider me a contact. Go ahead and just keep me in your book there. Keep me in your Rolodex.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you.
Not a problem. Oh shit, fire's breaking out. Gotta go.
Oh Jesus. All right. So I'll when I land, I'll head to talk to Dr. Jin first. See what
Uh,
she has.
are you putting in a call? Or are you going to her facility?
I think I'll just head to her facility.
All right. Well, that's in Voda proper, so you'll have to dock.
Yeah,
You basically
I
do
figured
you
I would
want
have to
to
dock.
do you want to go to one of the paying ports, or you want to go to free parking?
How much is the paying port?
100 credits a day.
I don't plan on being here for more than a day or so.
That's no fuel, nothing like that. You can basically barter if you're going to bring on your own supplies and things like that. They do have like loading equipment, stuff like that. But a ship your size, it's not easy to find like straight up parking. Like it's not like not like a fighter that can pretty much park anywhere.
Yeah, no, I'll go for the paid parking since I'm not planning on being there for more than a day or so.
Okay. You basically contact the parking facility and get yourself set up. Go ahead and subtract 100 credits.
Okay.
Um, Gentleman looks at you as you step out. He's a little bit gnomish. Kind of looks up at you, goes, so what are we looking here? We looking to resupply fuel? You want it cleaned and washed? Like, holy shit, is that an R7?
Yes, that
As
is
your
an
droid comes
R7,
wheeling out.
and no, I'm only looking to put down for the day.
All
Um,
right, not a problem, not a problem. He takes out a little he takes out like a little red magnet and slaps it onto the outer side of the hole, and hands you a little digital token.
okay.
It kind of lights up as he hands it to you, and he goes, "That right there is a tracker. Someone jacks your ship, we'll be able to track it, and that right there, that'll lead you to it."
Awesome. I very much appreciate it, sir.
I'm not sure why I fell back into Garrow's voice there. Sorry. Um, Not a problem. Not a problem.
All right, so I'll head over to Dr. Jin's place. Uh, if
All
I
right. Moving through the city, you all of a sudden you can feel like your upbringing kind of coming out of you. Like Otis 4 wasn't a huge planet. Like the spaceport was more like a truck stop.
mhm.
This place has thousands of people moving about, cargo lifts, speeders, floater bikes, you name it, it's happening. You almost get run over a couple of times by different people. You see creatures of different race functions. You see really odd shaped creatures made out of like liquid moving about. Um, it's just a lot of information to take in all at once. But R7 just continuously leading the way forward.
Okay. Well, R7 is meant for navigation. That does include inside of cities.
Oh yeah, no. Once you have basically a location, it will guide you.
Okay. So I'll just follow R7. I'll try to stay out of everybody's way and not cause a traffic accident.
Yeah. You find yourself outside of a large building, with a very almost like stylized JYN on the outer edge. It has a lot of like you wait a second and you watch as all the letters slowly start to morph into another language.
I kind of think to myself for a moment, I don't know. I don't think she's an actual doctor if she's got something that fancy. But that's just me talking to myself.
Oh, I got you. R7 just without even waiting starts wheeling in through the door.
I'll follow R7 in.
You enter into a waiting room. There are a lot of different models and different like almost like pieces of robots out on pedestals and things like that. There is a empty desk with a command processing unit, CPU, whatever you want to call it. Terminal, that's the word. A terminal sitting there, and there's a small sign saying "Be back in 5 minutes."
So I'll wait the 5 minutes, but while I'm waiting, I'm actually going through and I'm looking at each of the droids. Does she have any like security droids on display?
Yeah, she has a couple of different grade security. She has some ball units. They kind of float like the interrogation droids. She has some combat units, kind of like R2D2 units, but they're more of like they have armaments and things like that built into them.
Okay.
You can see this because basically, as you walk around and the sensors identify you, they slowly like to unfold and like show you the different processors and things they have inside of them, including weaponry.
Okay.
She has some humanoid bots. You also see some service protocol droids and other types of functions. But uh, after a few minutes, you hear a door in the back slide open, and out walks a beautiful drow woman with both sides of her head clean shaven and technological inputs installed on both sides. Uh, Pieces of like almost like lenses coming down over her eyes. And they slowly start to rotate, and she looks up and sees you and just smiles and goes, "Oh, hello. Uh, welcome. May I help you?"
Yeah, I'm here to actually inquire about a few different security models that you might have.
Are you a
Like
novice?
combat security. Yes, yes, literally
Ah, okay.
fresh off the planet.
Oh, well, okay then. What type of a security are you looking for? You looking for something for yourself?
No,
Looking for,
I'm looking for security for a cargo run that I'm going to be doing.
so you're a pilot on a
Sort
cargo
of,
ship.
yeah.
She looks down and sees the R7 droid and goes, refurbished, so I'm guessing you don't have a lot of money.
Um,
Hmm,
not at the moment, no.
interesting. So you'd be an investment, is what I'm hearing.
I guess so.
It's always good to have a captain in my pocket. Hmm. What kind of cargo are you running?
I am not at liberty to discuss that, but I can say the cargo will net me 50K.
Hmm. You're not at liberty to discuss it, but you're on Poaleco. I'm guessing it probably has something to do with the Jareth.
You're a
That or the
very,
gloom.
you're a very intuitive woman.
Oh, well, I'm reading your biometrics at the same time. Not to mention security in our droid is quite lacking. Can I interest you in an upgrade? Not on the droid, the security for the droid. I've already hacked its firewalls. Amenel, was it?
Yes. Maybe after the job is done when I get paid. I look
Fair
over at
enough. Fair
R7, I
enough.
go, we definitely need to upgrade your security.
It just kind of, it doesn't necessarily look at you, but you get like almost like a, sort of like a sigh through the comm system.
It's alright, buddy, and I walk over and pat it on its head. On its
I
chrome
am
head.
only capable of doing what I can.
I know. The sigh wasn't because of your lack of security. It was the fact that we need to get it upgraded. So you're good. And I kind of just pet it a little bit. But you're still my buddy.
So you have about 11,000 right now.
11.9.
Hmm. Well, I was not worried about the 900. You obviously need to eat.
Oh no.
Well, you have a soft spot for humanoids.
You are a humanoid.
Like I said, I have a soft spot. So,
There's a lot of humanoids out there.
you'd be surprised how many there aren't. I mean, you've just met the Jareth, and you said you're fresh off world. Well, trust me, that's just the beginning. Life has a way of just happening, it seems, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
different ways, different realities. I mean, my own people themselves come from outside of this reality and only came here through a warp hole.
Yeah. So I've heard. And I may be fresh off the planet, but I do have at least a decent knowledge of some things.
It's always good. You should. Well, I guess if you're willing to spend at least some of your money, I'd be willing to do a payment plan. Because honestly, if you die and it gets blown up, it's not necessarily going to hurt me any. But I do have an HR-1X if you're interested.
What is an HR-1X?
She walks over and she activates the input on one of the walls with a wave of her hand, and you watch as it almost opens up like a cabinet. And standing inside is uh, you're about 6 foot, right?
Yeah.
So this is about 4-ish foot, but kind of dwarf shape and size. Humanoid battle mech. It has physical armaments attached to its back, but it also has locked and load sections along its legs for any type of like additive artillery functions, things like that. It has shoulder mounted spaces for rockets, but currently it just has simple melee action.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I would be able to arm it with some of the armaments that I have from the ship. Because I did get more than just my blaster.
Maybe. If you look at the screen, I just put a picture up.
That is an assassin droid, sir.
Well, I mean, kind of. That's combat.
Yeah, it is.
But she activates it and she basically goes HR-1X, step forward, and you watch as this thing moves, and it looks like it's gotten some recent damage. It has a couple of servo issues and things like that. She's obviously in the process of upgrading and refurbishing it. But it steps out and it's still functioning. Its eyes light up with this almost like sinister reddish color. And it looks around and goes, accessing targets. Stand down, HR-1X. And it goes, affirm. And it just slowly lowers its head gently down to a resting position.
Mm-hmm.
And the lights slowly dim. I got this one from a pawn. Poor bastard was going to lose his life in a poker game, and instead he decided to put this up as collateral. Unfortunately, the owner that ended up obtaining it decided to chunk it because, and I quote, "Why would I want a service droid that would try to kill me in my sleep?" Some people just don't know machinery.
Yeah.
But it's fully functional, it has a lot of upgraded possibility, and I'd be willing to let it go for 5,000 units up front, and say 3 payments of 5,000 in the future. Or you could owe me a favor or two. Kind of looks you over and just kind of like, I can always have use for fresh meat.
Oh boy.
Might
Well,
get you a discount, but not necessarily a full purchase.
well, I wouldn't expect a full purchase for that anyway. I have a
But like
few.
I said, also having a captain in my back pocket is always helpful.
Yeah, I have a few other options that I'm gonna check out. I just wanted to see what you had to offer. I'm gonna actually take a closer look at the HR unit itself and see like where I can put more, like give it a blaster if I need to.
Go ahead and make a technology check. We'll go ahead and just make that base intelligence because you're not proficient, so
20, dirty 20.
dirty 20. You've seen these things before. Other bounty hunters have had them. They are super reliable. The programming's a little wonky. like they tend to murder things first
And
and
questions later.
ask questions later. But for the most part, like this thing has the possibility, if you put the time and the money into it, to literally go to war.
Okay.
You could see it's seen some battle damage as you're looking over the armaments and stuff. You've seen some places where she's reinforcing it, but I mean, like fully functional, it seems like it's not gonna have a problem. It's kind of like R7. It's refurbished, but it's dependable.
Okay. Well,
But
I'm
if
used
you
to
don't like
refurbished.
that, like I said, there's other options. She waves at a couple of the R2 style units. The way I'm basically running it is the different like types of R2s are different combat specs.
Mm-hmm.
So because I know there's like a whole generational function with the names and everything, but I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
So like most time when you see a trash can style droid with red markings, people are going to identify it as a service or a navigational droid.
Yeah.
They see blue and they're like, oh shit, that's a combat droid.
All right.
Because R2s can fuck shit up. There's also like this one, I think it's called 00 or something like that in the comic books. It is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It is a killing machine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I'll look at her and I'll go,
and
this is your cheapest model, right?
mm,
Because 20K could almost get me another ship.
I mean, that's entirely purchased. Like I said, there are other negotiation things like that. But I mean, it depends on the level of defense that you want. Like if you're just looking for something to watch your back and keep an eye out for danger, and she walks over and waves at one of the floating ball droids. She's like, "This one focuses mainly on surveillance, communications, espionage, but it's not going to have a lot of firepower."
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for firepower. Because apparently what it is, well, I'll leave those details up in the air right now, but
Oh, I won't pry. And I didn't scan all of your droid's files. I just wanted to know who I was talking to.
yeah, that's understandable. So I've got another option that I want to look into, but I will be back, one way or the other.
Not a problem. And I know the price tag seems a lot, but just remember, once it's yours, it's yours. Like, this is like buying a ship. Like, this droid will serve you until you decide it shouldn't anymore.
Well, thank you for informing me.
She almost like lovingly strokes the shoulder of HR, and she's just like, "It's what I love about droids. So dependable, so loyal."
Uh,
Oh, sorry, you're still here.
as
Yes,
I leave, I'm like, oh my god, she's in love with droids.
yeah, possibly. There's probably some droid fucking going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Um, but
So
yeah, as you leave, she doesn't even kind of register your departure. She's just kind of staring up at HR.
mhm. So from here, I'm gonna track down Roama and talk to her and her people, goblins.
Okay. So you kind of look at R7 and just you're gonna tell the droid to take you to the guild.
Mhm. If that's where they're located, yeah. Well, the guild would be the best way to locate them.
I mean, you have their contact information, but you don't know where they live.
Okay.
The guild would not give you out their personal address. He gave out Jin's information because it's a business.
Yeah. Well, then I'll actually just reach out to Roama through the communications network.
Okay. R7 can place that call.
Yep.
Through your earpiece, you basically hear the steady beep of the contact system going into place, replaced with very loud, aggressive rock music, and a guttural female voice going, Who is it?
Hi, is this, Roama?
Yeah, that's me.
My name
Just
is,
about the money I will bill, because I swear I'll have the money by Tuesday.
no, but my offer might help you with that.
Wait, off, halt, Tron! Tron, shut it! As you can hear, like, the music just get immediately cut off, and you hear a little bit of, like, pain squealing in the background. Um, offer was it?
Yeah, I'm looking for some security for a 10-day cargo run, at 5K apiece.
5K seems kind of light for 10 days. And you're also not really talking about what type of cargo, are you? So I'm guessing it's something secretive. Tell you what, do you know where the guild hall is?
Yes, I do.
Can we meet there in an hour?
Yes, we can meet there in an hour.
Okay, I'll be the troll with the giant peak mohawk, and you'll be...
I will be in basically muted blue colors, and I'll have an R7 with me.
You're,
Human, sorry.
human. Got it. 1 hour.
1 hour.
As the call is about to be clicked off, you can hear her kind of turn around and start yelling in Goblin. Do you speak Goblin?
I do not. I speak common and undercommon.
All right. It's this very like almost like sharp, shrill barking language as the comm unit goes dead.
Alright. So since we have an hour, I'm guessing the guild isn't too far from where I'm currently at.
Are you asking R7?
I'm asking. Yeah, well, I might as well be asking R7 where the guild hall is at.
Uh, the top of R7 spins around, and it gives a little whistle as a holographic image of the city appears above its head. It shows you as a little blue dot, and it shows the guild on the other side of the city as a green dot.
All right.
And then it shows a line going across, and it says 3.5 hours walking time.
Ooh, so we definitely need to get a transport then. Can I flag down a speeder taxi?
Not a problem. One pulls over and just kind of looks at you and goes, oh, where are you going?
The Bounty Guild Hall.
Alright, that'd be about 15 credits.
Alright, that's not too bad. I get R7 into the vehicle and I hand the guy 15 credits.
There's instead of placing in the vehicle, because it's kind of like a floating rickshaw with like a pilot seat, there is a loading platform in the back for droids.
Yeah, I get it into the taxi.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. But it takes off and it's going to get you there in about 45 minutes. You'll get there about 15 minutes before Roma shows up.
Awesome.
It's a bit of a long haul though. Like the guy doesn't talk to you as he basically gets into his pilot chair, and you watch as like sensory goggles and like auditorial systems fall down over his face because he's basically going to be navigating traffic. So as you're traveling for 45 minutes, do you do anything?
No, I'm just looking out over the city because I've never been in a city that's actually this big before. Because, like you said, the spaceport on my home planet which would be the capital, even wasn't really that big. Wasn't even really that big.
It wasn't like you thought it was when you left, but now sitting in an actual like city, the first thing is the shine is starting to wear off as he's moving through. You're starting to notice a little bit more of the squalor and a little bit more of the living conditions and things like that. And there are people with fancy clothes and moving about in nice cars and things like that, but it's more because they have to be at certain places versus they want to be at certain places.
Okay.
But you notice that there is a lot of like industrial situations of like different workshops and ship repairs and things like that, and there's food places, and you kind of get an idea of like different locations, and you see a lot of different resource shops and weapons shops and things like that as you're flying around. So you get the feeling like where back home you had like one or two contacts to purchase goods,
Mm-hmm.
there's probably a lot more different options than just one or two people. Like if you weren't happy with Jen, you get the feeling there were other robotic systems in the city itself.
Yeah.
You just asked for a contact, and that's what Gara got you.
Yep.
And you never even mentioned Gara's name at the shop, which I thought that was pretty funny.
Ah.
Um,
Well.
but as you reach the bounty hunter facility, it is a large coliseum-like building with different turbo lifts moving about. You can see there is creatures being loaded into certain gates and things like that from bounties and other types of like shoot to kill missions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of people here moving about, doing different things. Um, you can see there are people walking around and they're wearing these like silver sashes over their clothes, and they seem to be orchestrating and organizing different groups into different functions.
I'm guessing they're bounty handlers.
Possibly.
So I'll go up and into the guild hall with R7. I'm guessing, like most guild halls, this will have like an off section where you can sit down and grab something to eat or discuss something with a client or something like that.
Yeah, there. It's actually very similar to like walking into a large facility. You can see like there's couches, chairs. There's different type of like eateries and things like that. Almost very mall-like. Um, but one of the things that catches your attention as you enter is the giant quest board. A large, glowing, holographic display in the middle of the room that shows different symbols of different teams and their progresses on different actions and things like that. And there seems to be almost like a shorthand with some of the language. You can see people like whistling and talking about it and things like that. You can see like as it's actively moving about, different people losing and gaining respect and status for different missions and things like that. And you also notice some of the lights disappearing.
Hmm. So I'll walk up to the bounty board and I'll see what types of jobs they have.
Um, you don't actually see any type of active jobs.
Like jobs that haven't been claimed.
Yeah, this is more of like a status board.
Okay.
You can see like there's a bit of almost like competition. You notice basically the first person all the way to the top. They have sort of like a jade star symbol next to their names, and it is 7 glowing gold lights, and it just says vacation next to it.
Vacation.
Hmm?
Vacation.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was like, I
So that
wonder if
team
that's a
is on vacation.
Interesting. I wonder if they're like an S class team, an S ranked team.
They're in
Um,
number one.
is there any
Do
place that would
you
have like an active board for jobs that haven't been accepted yet?
you don't see one?
Okay, well, this is
Do you want to
definitely
do you want to talk to somebody? Do you want to go to the resource desk? What do you want to do?
no. I just say to myself, this is definitely different from the bounty office on my planet or in my
Yeah, that was a
hometown.
pegboard.
Yeah, it was. No, I'll go over to where the like area is with all the tables and chairs, and I'll take a seat and wait the 15 minutes, grab a drink, get something in me
A
because it's been a
green
couple
set.
get something in me because it's been a couple of hours since I've actually had anything.
As you're waiting, a green-skinned tiefling with gold-colored eyes and almost like a set of like 4 different horns coming off her head and curling into her hair walks up and goes,
Oh,
"Do you have an
hello.
order?"
Um,
"Hello."
yeah, can I just get a normal calf?
That's it, just a calf.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Roama to come. I'm meeting her here.
Are you a client?
Uh, yes.
Oh, not a problem. I'll put it on a tab.
No. Just I'll pay for it. It's not a problem.
It's not a matter of being a problem. It's a matter of courtesy. It's how we do things at the guild. She knows.
Oh, okay. That's
Uh,
weird.
she she goes off and she brings you back a coffee. Let me know if you need anything else.
Actually, do you have any kind of like breakfast type food on hand? Because I just got here this morning and I still haven't eaten.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're basically looking for what type of food source?
Human?
Human. That doesn't really tell me what you're looking for. You're looking for plant, meat,
No, I'm
grain,
I'm looking
liquid.
for like a breakfast type of meal, something like eggs and bacon or toast or something like that.
Oh, I get it. This is your first time on a real planet, isn't it, sweetheart?
Yes, I am literally fresh off of my planet. I come from a mining colony.
Got it. Well, first thing you need to learn is that there are a lot of different species in the galaxy,
Well, that
which
I
means
already
that
know.
when you're dealing with a real city and someone asks you what your food source is, you would identify with the type of food you like to eat. Because I literally served burning rocks to someone 10 minutes ago.
Damn. Okay.
So I'm guessing you would like grain, meat, dairy.
Yes.
Okay. I will talk to the cook and he will whip you up something unless there's something specific that you're looking for.
I'm not really looking for anything specific, just something to put in me.
Well, I'll tell you what. What planet are you from there, darling?
Uh, Outvis 4.
Alright. I'll let the cook know and he's familiar with the region. He'll whip something up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. She saunters off, and there's a bit of she watches. She leans over, talking to a large rock-based humanoid in the window, and just kind of talking and laughing with him. And she points a finger over at you, and he looks over and just kind of nods his head and goes back to work.
I'm going to take in her demeanor and her sight. As I kind of just stare, because I've heard about tieflings, but I've never seen one in person before.
Okay, are you checking for something, or are you just watching her?
I am just admiring her.
Oh, okay. She's not like super beautiful or anything like that. Like Jen was almost like an almost like a supernatural beauty. There was something almost alienistic in the way she looked, but this is more of a natural based look.
Yeah, but you got to remember, not used to other races out here yet. So the
Yeah.
fact that she's green skinned, gold eyed, four horned tiefling, that is that is actually more alien than the drow is.
Valid, valid. Um, but uh, about another 10 minutes pass, and you feel you feel like something's changed in the room. And you're not quite sure like what it is, but like you start feeling a little antsy and like start feeling like eyes are on you.
Okay. I'll look around and see like who's looking at me.
You gotta make a perception check.
13.
Make this fair. I'm gonna go ahead and roll in chat. That way you can see it.
Okay.
Okay. You look around, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. Like, even with the chaos of everything going on, like, no one's really paying attention to you
Mm-hmm.
or focusing on you, so it's just kind of like weird how you just have this sort of like feeling like eyes are drilling in the back of your neck.
So as I get this feeling, I'm actually going to reach down and grip my blaster as I turn around to where I feel like the eyes are coming from.
Yeah, you don't see anything. Waitress brings your food over, sets it down in front of you, and you see like there is a semblance of breakfast, as it's some type of like blue eggs
Mm-hmm.
with like almost like this gray colored slabs of meat, which is like the cook tried to make an attempt at bacon basically with what he had on hand.
Yeah.
And there are like two perfectly made like pieces of toast and butter on there.
All right. Well, uh, as I'm still weary of the eyes drilling into the back of my head, I'll actually go ahead and start eating, and I'll thank her for bringing the food over.
Okay. She looks in and goes, "Do you need me to refill that?"
Yes, please, if you could. I
As
appreciate it.
she leans down and to fill up your drink, she whispers in your ear as her face is closer to yours. She goes, "Your clientele has arrived, but just so you know, they seem to be monitoring you."
I fucking knew it. Thank you.
And she kind of like flicks her eyes over into the corner. You can make another perception check to see if you spot what she knows is there.
19.
19. This time you see him blended into almost like a topiary of like leaves and other plants. You see these small, slightly like really dull gold eyes of a goblin peering through the bushes at you.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
He's about 40 feet away.
yeah. I'll if I notice him and he doesn't see me seeing him, I'll kind of just glance past him and then I'll go back to my food, like I didn't see him at all.
You're about halfway into your meal. That feeling still hasn't gone away, and as you kind of glance over and you watch him, you see every now and then he lifts up his wrist to his mouth and speaks something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then that's when you see her, a whopping 8 feet tall, lithe build, covered in almost like strips of torn fabric. So it's like strings of fabrics hanging off of her, almost like a car wash effect.
Mm-hmm.
Large, giant pink mohawk, green troll skin. She comes walking across the room. There are a lot of people like try to stop and talk to her, but she quickly like dismisses them. And she walks over and she looks down at the small chair across from you, looks back
Um,
at Tiefling and goes, "Go ahead."
well, as she approaches, I'll actually stand up to greet her,
She
wiping
looks
my
at
hands on
you
my
and
pants to reach out my hand to her. Uh, Roama, I presume.
yeah, that'd be me. And you weren't kidding. Covered in blue, R7 with humanoid, definitely. She looks over at the tiefling and goes, "Lynn, give me a real chair. I'll break this one." Waitress runs over and picks up the chair and kind of sets it aside and goes, "As usual, just sit on the floor, you dumb bitch." And she walked away
Oh,
with the
damn.
chair.
She's very candid, isn't she?
Roma smiles and goes, "She's just mad I haven't called her back since the last time we fucked." Ah. But she does. She squats down across from the table at you, almost like going into a comfortable hunch, putting her arms akimbo on her knees.
Uh, I'll
"So,
I'll take my
I
seat
hear
back
you
as
look."
I look at my hand, noticing she did not shake it.
She kind of looks at you and goes, "So, you're looking to hire someone, but you're not associated with the merchants."
No. I'm looking to try
Interesting.
and I'm looking to try and just do odd jobs here and there to make a living while I travel throughout space. And this job kind of requires a little bit of security more than just myself can provide.
She's gonna go ahead and roll insight on you.
Okay. Do I need to roll anything against that?
Depends. Do you want to be read, or are you learning to hide your emotions, or what?
At this moment in time, I really don't care.
Okay. I'm listening. I'm not gonna lie. 5,000 for 10 days seems a little
5,000
weak.
5,000 a person, and that's a month's wage where most come from.
I mean, if you're talking about just a day worker, sure. But we do things a little bit differently. And not to mention, you haven't mentioned anything like combat pay, hazard pay. You haven't
Uh,
mentioned where we're going or how. And you just say 10 days. Like,
it would
how my
be
brother is supposed to know what this is, what we're getting ourselves into?
well, the cargo itself I cannot talk about. That is not my place to. When we go and meet the client, they can inform you about what we are doing. But uh, it is a transport from here to Runo, where we will drop the cargo off. And it's a sensitive cargo, so we cannot go into hyperspace, which is why it's going to take us 10 days. I have provisions on ship for all of us for those 10 days already. So you don't have to
As
worry
you
about food or a place to sleep.
as you say Runo, one of her eyes instantly one of her eyebrows cocks up.
Okay.
You're getting in bed with the Jareth, aren't you?
It's just a simple job. It's not
It's never
in.
a simple job with the bugs.
Why do you say that?
Why do you think they hire people to transport their eggs?
Because
Because there are other people being hired to take them.
why are people being hired to take them? And how did you
Because the
know it was
bugs.
their eggs?
You said you can't go into hyperspace. You are new to this, aren't you?
Yeah, I
Like, you
am.
just basically told me everything I needed to know to put two and two together. Do I look as she gestures to like the scars and like the effects of her face, and then do I look like I just started this game yesterday, boy?
No, but I'm.
And you're on Poleka, and you took a job, and now you're sitting here in the guild masters or the bounty hunters guild, and you're basically telling me the details of the job while telling me you can't tell me the details of the job. Like, you do understand that less is more, or more is less. Like, if you hadn't said all that, I wouldn't be able to piece it together.
Probably, but I'll make note of that.
You don't need security. You need a fucking babysitter. Let me explain something to you, human. It's real simple. The bugs can't fight each other in space. So, it's their weak spot. So they hire go-betweens. If they're hiring you to ship eggs, that means they're hiring another house is hiring people to steal them. I can almost guarantee you we're gonna have combat, unless you have a secret that I don't know about to get there without being spotted. You got like some type of like fancy cloaking ship or magic or what?
Unfortunately, I do not. I didn't really realize that it would be that dangerous. But I do have munitions that you and your brothers can have access to as a little
Oh, you have
supplemental
munitions.
equipment.
You have munitions. So what you're telling me is you have guns on the ship.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, not having guns on your ship is a bad idea. Even
I mean, it
I know
depends on
that.
what you're doing. Depends on what you're doing. If you're just hauling food or something, that's perfectly safe. Like, who goes out of the way to steal food unless you're one of the Ravagers? You recognize that terminology not as being like the Marvel version,
Mm-hmm.
but it's literal space
Raiders.
literal space pirates
Mm-hmm.
that steal consumable goods because they never go to planets.
Yeah.
It's almost like a way of life for them.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I look at her and I'm like, I get it, I understand, but this is a starting out place for me. So I have an offer. You can take it or say no. And even then, I can still pull back on that offer if I don't think this is a good fit. That I do understand.
If I'd done something to offend you. And
No.
by the way, I was just looking at the picture of the ship, and you realize there's no door to get into the refresher bay?
Yeah, I forgot that. I'm gonna actually
I
change
was looking
that.
at it, I was like, how do you get in there?
Uh, Here is where you'd get into it, but I'll put
I
a
got
door
you.
on it later.
I got you.
I'm actually gonna change up the refresher area a little bit too, so but
I bet you didn't even haggle with Jareth how much you were gonna get for the job, did you?
no, because it seemed a pretty damn good price.
Sucker's born every minute. You know, honestly, I'm gonna punch Jaria. I'm just gonna punch him right in his face next time I see him.
Why?
Because I told him. I told him I needed work, but I don't know. I don't know. This is tricky. You're offering 5,000 apiece. There are four of us. That's 20,000. I'm guessing that's what 20, 50% of what you're gonna make.
About, yeah. In between that.
By the way, one reason why she has this insight on a lot of things you're saying is because she rolled a 19 plus 4.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I'll tell you what. We'll do it. But if we run into combat, we get an extra 100 credits for each thing we kill.
Extra 100 credits. Okay, I can do that.
We kill 10 things, we get an extra 1,000. I think that's pretty reasonable. That way you don't have to worry about any hazard pay or, battle pay or anything like that. It's just basically a flat rate. Because I'll tell you right now, my brothers, they're good. One of them was keeping an eye on you the whole time. The other ones had you in their crosshairs the whole time.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling something like that was going on.
She reaches up and she kind of touches her ear a little bit, and she's just like, "Go ahead and pop out, boys." And the one from behind the bush comes sauntering out like he's king shit. But there's another one on top of one of the pillars that you didn't find earlier, and he comes sliding down. He's got a bit of a long range rifle slung over his back, and you see another one stand up. And what's weird is that it looks like a human.
So it's not a goblin?
It looks like a human
Interesting.
as it walks over.
Interesting. So I guess you're her brothers?
They all kind of look at you and kind of nod their heads. She goes, "Little one there with the eyes, that one's Boris.
Hello,
The one with the
Boris.
gun, that one's Crom. And the one wearing the meat suit, that's Gontis."
Meat suit?
You watch as a piece of the chest opens up, and inside is a rather smaller version of a goblin, obviously some type of a runt,
Okay.
and it's got all sorts of like wires and things hooked up to it and to the suit and everything, and it just kind of goes, "Hello,
Hey, how's it going? What was his name again?
I'm Gontis."
Contas.
Gontas.
Yeah.
The suit itself looks like just a normal, average humanoid male.
Cool. Well, it is nice to meet all three of you. Roama, if you do want to accept, that would be fantastic, because you all seem like you are fairly well put together. And since you already know the details of the job, stupid me
Well,
for putting that out
I'm not,
there.
I'm not gonna brag, but she points at the board, and you can tell like where she's pointing. You can see a sort of like a stylized image of a pink mohawk with fangs coming out, like tusks coming out of the bottom, and it's about midway up the board.
Okay. That
We do
is
okay.
that is fairly impressive, actually. Um, so I did have other options, but with the deal that you proposed, I think I'm more inclined to take it because your resume seems fairly impressive, and I'll actually point out to the board where she's at.
Gontis looks confused and just kind of looks around outside the Mexican and goes, "Did we give him a resume?" Crom just kind of like kind of like takes his butt of his rifle and hits the mech suit a little bit, and you watch as Gontis actually like winches and like touches his knee a little, and it's like asshole, and the doors to the suit shut.
So, do we have a deal?
Well, I mean, you're the one who said we have a deal. When do we leave?
Uh, well, I'll give you guys a couple of hours to gather any effects that you need, and then I'll meet you at my ship, and I'll give her the information of where it's parked.
She stands up, her serrated clothing kind of falling back into place, and she looks at her brother and goes, "We're always ready to go. Lead the way, boss."
All right, then let's head out. And
All right,
at this
and
point,
that's what.
yeah,
Good.
I was gonna say, and at this point, I think we should call it here.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna call it as you guys make your way back to the Star Skipper, your mercenary band in tow. Um, you find out that Boris is known as the Shadow Stepper. Chrome is the sniper. Gontis is the mech specialist mechanic. And Roma, well, she just likes to break things.
Nice. All right.
Really surprised you didn't buy the droid, though.
Why are you surprised I didn't buy the droid?
The assassin droid. I thought that was really cool.
Who says I might not later on?
That is true. But this is 40 Grit saying your destiny's out in the stars. It's time to go chase it. Have a good night.
Hoorah.